Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm with the legend for LinkedIn DMs, Scott Crease. For those who don't know Scott Crease, this guy is an unsung hero for a lot of agencies to generate more appointments for them. He's literally been doing this for 5 years, and this guy is like the black belt of LinkedIn. So I'm gonna shut up. He obviously is excited and pumped to share with you guys what's been working for other agencies and himself. So, Scott, pleasure to have you on here. Excited to kind of share with you. A lot of people don't consider LinkedIn as the first go-to. Maybe it's cold calling, maybe it's cold emailing. So I definitely want to plug and let them know what they're missing out with LinkedIn. So happy to have you here.
Absolutely, Marcus. I appreciate you having me on here. And guys, like Marcus said, I have been using LinkedIn for 5 years now. A quick background on me. For those of you who don't know me, I started my agency about 5 years ago using LinkedIn lead generation was the first thing I ever used. Fast forward to today, I've been fortunate enough to make enough money where I become financially free, meaning if I don't want to, I never have to work again. Now, I did that by shoveling as much money into real estate as possible. And my life mission is to help other people do the same. But the first step to that isn't the real estate, it's making a ton of money. And so over the past 5 years, I've been helping people just like you guys watching this who may be starting at zero like I was. I was in debt to my brother actually, who had given me a loan.
Shout out
Um,
to your brother.
yeah, exactly. And I was able to pay him back with some very good interest on it a year later. But I needed money to buy this first program. And so if you're starting out there from zero, or if you're already at 6 or 7 figures, LinkedIn will be huge for you to get some clients and grow. And so I'm going to show you guys the entire breakdown of everything here. I'm going to hold nothing back. So I'm going to share my screen and we can just start. I'll take you through the process. So basically, if you are watching this and you want more booked sales calls and you want more clients without having to run paid ads, without having to deal with any crazy tech, and you still want it to be not about 95% automated, then LinkedIn is for you. And I'll show you how it can pretty much work for any target audience that you could possibly be targeting out there. And so the first step to this LinkedIn process starts with your LinkedIn profile. And it sounds very basic, but you want to turn your LinkedIn profile into basically a place for free ad copy because 90% of the people that we connect with on LinkedIn are going to check out your LinkedIn profile. And so if you don't have this, what I call optimized, people aren't going to take you seriously. It'd be like if you owned a gym and you were funneling people to your gym website and all the pictures on your gym website were just really, really out of shape people and like fat people and just not the type that you're trying to target, people would look at that and say, oh, like that doesn't really look like a gym that can help me.
Unless you're Planet Fitness. No, don't shade.
Exactly. Exactly. So you'll attract the people that you want to target based on your LinkedIn profile. And so the first kind of lesson here is a lesson that is kind of less sexy, but it's what a lot of you guys are messing up, and it's going to flow into your LinkedIn profile, the LinkedIn messaging that I'll show you how to craft and all of this stuff. It's very, very important that you guys first do your market research. And so right here, I have a document that I'll get into after the LinkedIn profile that goes into how to craft messaging. But the first thing you guys need to do is do your market research and figure out a few things. One, make the font a little bit here. One, market research. So one, what does your ideal target audience call themselves in their own words? Okay. And so
Mm,
this is very important. Um, and I'll give you some examples even.
yeah.
So my agency when I first started worked with financial services. And so there are a lot of things that financial services people like financial advisors could call themselves, right? They could call themselves financial advisors, could call themselves financial planners, could call themselves certified um, financial planners, aka CFPs.
Did not know that.
They could call themselves wealth managers. And so the interesting thing here is that, and there's even more than this, these are all different things that they could call themselves.
Mm.
And so when we get into LinkedIn, we need to know this lingo. This is the first step to lingo because we can call out these various what I call sub niches on our LinkedIn profile. So that's the first part here. So you can see now
Mm.
I'm calling out in this example, agency owners, coaches, and SaaS owners. And
Hmm.
so that's the first part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. I guess, how did you do your research? Kind of asking for people who maybe are genuinely just starting or maybe haven't even picked a niche yet. And that's totally chill. We all start there. How do you kind of do your initial, like your research? I can already think of a couple, but I wanted to get your take on
Yeah.
what you would think.
So the easiest to start obviously is Google. But the second thing that you can do, so Google, get ingrained in their world. Even start Googling different things that they might consume themselves. So I could target, different things about financial advisors. I could even start reading financial advisors' newsletters and
Mm,
different maybe blogs that they would subscribe to. And you'll start understanding one, what they call themselves, and two, other lingo that they'll be using, which I'll get into here in a second. But yeah,
perfect.
and then Marcus, I don't know if you want to share with them what you had in mind as well.
Yeah, no, I love Google. That was the way I got to learn a lot about gyms, what I went into for you, financial advisors. Another one I recently been doing is literally just calling them up.
Hmm.
Literally just calling them up, and kind of genuinely just asking them for research. You can disguise yourself as a college student. I know there's a lot of like 90% of my watchers are Gen Zers, so easily said and like easy for you guys. But yeah, just getting in front of them or getting in front of their environment, like Scott's saying on Google, newsletters, you'll really find the key words that they use and you'll get around the atmosphere. I'm like, okay, this is what they typically call themselves. So that's
Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely. And I was going to say that too. Talk to them. So if you are just starting out from zero, like you don't have a customer base and you are literally from zero, you can actually use this LinkedIn outreach tool. We're going to set up a LinkedIn automated outreach that is going to shoot out messages to people for you while you sleep, go to the gym, do whatever you want. And you can even hop on the phone call with them and ask them, be like, hey, like I'm starting out, I'm trying to solve these problems for you guys as financial advisors. Like what is the number one thing that you guys need help with? What is the number one thing that you are looking for? What are different pain points that you guys have, right? Which leads us to the second piece of market research, and this is huge. And so, for example, here, and I'll show you, I'll put all this together of why this is so important before you guys start doing any outreach, or even crafting your LinkedIn profile, is because, for example, with financial advisors, are looking for, they are looking for, and I only knew this from proper market research and talking to them, they're looking for, right, hold on, I'll just high net worth, and they abbreviate even sometimes as HNW clients. Okay.
Mm,
They are looking for assets under management, which is also abbreviated as AUM. They are looking for oftentimes life insurance sales. Okay, these are just some examples, but they are not looking for customers.
mm,
They are not looking for more revenue unless they maybe own a huge practice. They just don't measure things in terms of revenue. Okay.
wow.
Or they are looking for appointments with, or appointments that lead to, and then all of the above. And so it's important because let's say, for example, we had a campaign going that your messaging, as I'll show you, was hey John, it's great to reach out. Quick background on me. I'm Scott and I help. Let's say I'm targeting wealth managers with this message. And I say I help financial advisors acquire more customers
In revenue.
and increase revenue, right? Using, and I'll get to the messaging more in a second, using XYZ, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't resonate, but the same message with I help wealth managers acquire more high net worth clients, and AUM using XYZ, it's almost the same exact message. But just these nuances in the market research that we've done to figure out their desired results would change everything. If you target the wrong target audience with that, you're literally going to get zero leads. But if you target the proper one with that message, all of a sudden you'll get a whole bunch of interested people. And the desired result might go even deeper than you think. So I'll use a different example. Let's say you're targeting restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're targeting restaurants. You might say, well, Scott, that one's easy. They want more customers and more people at their restaurant. So, okay, like that might be true, but we can even go a layer deeper. And what a lot of restaurant owners want is specifically more carryout orders
Mm.
because they have a bunch of staff already indoors that they're paying. They have a lower profit margin on that. And really, they're just saying, oh my God, like if I could just get more carryout orders, that's what they really want. Or another level deeper, maybe more carryout orders and I don't know your word, but uh more carryout orders from local companies.
Yeah, like events or just bigger portions.
Exactly. Or people who are, or more catering orders or whatever it is. And so the deeper you go, you can figure out that the more specific you can get of their actual desired result, again, um, in their own words, is everything. And if
That's
you guys are
huge.
new or watching this, like this will stem into any type of marketing that you do. It's a principle that will always apply. And so if you're ever running paid ads, if you're creating sales material on sales calls, doing any type of organic outreach, and organic just means without paid ads, what I'm teaching here is going to flow into all of that. And so if you understand this first with your market research, you'll have a lot higher likelihood of success in any type of lead generation or marketing that you do.
This is big. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even gotten into the scripts, and I know, swear to God, everyone on YouTube wants to just get the script and get out of the YouTube video. But this, for those who are generally watching this is literally what like the biggest principle you can take. Like you will get the tactics, you'll get a script, whatever, but it's the principles that you can take away from this. And hearing it honestly for the second time, it's just a great refresher. I mean, you look at the gym industry, I'll give you a gym example here. People want clients, but they also want high paying clients. They want retaining clients. They want maybe PT clients, right? Those that pay higher ticket. You got dentistry. Sure, they have multiple services, right? Even med spa, but there are ones that pay the most, like dental implants, right? And so
Yeah, it's
that research, right? I just so happen to know because I've seen what's worked in other industries, but doing that research and really getting ingrained and then messaging that out on your pages in your ads, like Scott said, does almost all the heavy lifting for you for them to even say, like, okay, this guy gets me. Like this guy's legit. He's at least worth having a chat with because he knows me.
exactly. And so that you guys remember, first of all, when me and Marcus, when we use the word principles in uh business, there are three things that you could ever learn or teach. Okay. There are tactics, strategies, and principles. And this is very important. A lot of you guys are looking for tactics all the time. Okay. Which a tactic is what to do or what to say. So, Scott, Marcus, what do I do? What do I say? What do I do? What do I say? What do I do? What do I say? Where's the magic script on LinkedIn that's just going to make me a ton of money? Okay. But the issue with the tactic of what to do or what to say is that it works for some people and doesn't work for other people. So if you guys go out and you look for your next quote unquote, marketing guru to help you out or coach or whatever it is, and they promise you the world and they're saying all you have to do is say and do exactly what we tell you to do, and you're going to get incredible results. They are lying to you. Okay. I've spent $60,000 investing myself over the past 5 years, and most people are only teaching what to do or what to say.
Yeah, and not only does it not resonate for some people, like for example, sales, like Grant Cardone, you can say all about him and he knows sales, but like it doesn't jive with me, for example, just personally saying that, right? So and then also like tactics only work sometimes in certain situations. If someone goes off script or someone goes off your LinkedIn message or your DM message, what are you going to try and say after that? Is that something you can do with the tactic? Maybe not, right? And that's why Scott's going to dive into strategies in a sec.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's why if any of you guys out there have ever bought somebody's course before and they told you exactly what to do and what to say, and you're like, holy crap, like John over there with the same course is at 7 figures. And meanwhile, I'm going through the same material as him and I'm not getting any results. It's because you're trying to learn tactics. So we want to stay away with that from that. Strategies is it adds in when and why to say or do the thing. And so it's a little bit better. Okay. It adds some missing pieces in for you. But by definition, I create a strategy based on a strategic advantage that I already have. And so
Mm,
if you don't have that strategic advantage, you might not get the same results as me, right?
mm,
And so it's like if we both had basketball teams, Marcus, and like my team was a bunch of 6 foot players and your team was a bunch of 7 foot players, we could both win games, but with very different strategies because
mm.
I would be taking advantage of my strategic advantage of speed and you'd be taking advantage of height. And so
Brilliant
that depends
analogy.
on who you are as well. Yeah. But there's an amazing thing called business principles that took me, again, over $60,000 and a few years of different mentors to finally hear somebody who even mentioned what a principle was. And I was like, what is a business principle? A principle applies to all people at all places at all times. It has always applied, applies now, and will continue to apply forever. Okay. An example of this.
Is that a quote by you? I swear, like I'm gonna put in quotes like that is what you said because I'm that's the first time I've ever heard something so
Yeah.
profound.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll actually be teaching a couple of these here today. And the reason I say this, so think of a principle as like gravity as an example in the real world. Like it doesn't matter if you believe in gravity, you don't believe in gravity. It's why you're not floating up in the sky right now.
Yeah.
A
Wow.
principle of the human body for those of you who go to the gym, right? If you burn more calories than you consume, you're going to lose weight. It doesn't matter who you are. And so there are principles in business. And the powerful thing about principles is it stands for, the definition is the law that governs. And so if you guys first take the principles, doesn't matter who you are, and you obtain the principles, you have to get the result that the principle governs because it's a law. It's like the law of gravity. Again, it doesn't matter who you are. And so one of the principles is talking about your audience's pain points and desired results in their own words. And so this is the first thing you guys should figure out. And this is an important to note as well. And I hope that you guys are watching this on YouTube. And so usually I do this live. So you guys actually have the luxury of going back and replaying what I'm saying here so you can write it down and take notes for yourself. So I highly recommend you do that because the more you watch this through, the more you'll retain each time. But another thing that goes into this is no one cares about your vehicle. Okay. They only care about what it is that they actually desire. And so what I mean by that is your vehicle is what you're actually offering. Vehicles could be
Mm-hmm.
ads, LinkedIn, LinkedIn,
Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram. Doesn't matter, cold email lead gen, like whatever it is, that's your vehicle. And there are a couple of reasons why. One, when you lead with your vehicle, you can actually trigger a past trauma for your prospect. So let's say, for example, that I was trying to lose weight and the best diet and weight loss coach in the world reached out to me and I didn't know them. And they said, hey, Scott, I can help you lose weight and shred 10 pounds and get shredded. And so they have the desired results, right? They're like, yeah, I want to get shredded. And they say, using my keto plan, my keto system, right?
Yeah.
If I have tried keto in the past, instantly, this person doesn't even get an opportunity to get me into their sales funnel because they triggered a past trauma without knowing. I've tried keto. I don't want to do keto.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same thing is true for you guys. If you're leading with, let's say, Facebook
Facebook
ads
ads. Yeah.
or whatever it is, people have tried and burned by Facebook ads a million times. And so you never want to lead with your actual vehicle. Like another good example of this, or so I don't know if you remember if you've done this exercise with me, Marcus, but let's say me and you were taking a trip and I said, Marcus, I'm going to pay for a 2 week all-inclusive vacation for you, your family, friends, whoever it is, to go to Hawaii. All you have to do is get to Hawaii, right? What vehicle would you take to get to Hawaii? You could take a boat, you could swim, you could do whatever you want to get there. But what vehicle would you take to get to Hawaii?
Honestly, one that's going to get my butt there as soon as possible. But so really, fastest one would be airplane, as far as I know.
Right.
But honestly, like you said, don't care about the vehicle as long as I get into Hawaii,
Right.
right?
Exactly. And so 99% of people are going to say airplane. But the reason why we say airplane is because an airplane is our best chance at getting our desired result.
I'm a fast swimmer.
Yeah, maybe you could get there with swimming. You would, but it would take you a while.
Yeah.
But the other interesting part about the airplane is that nobody cares about the actual airplane. If something comes
Exactly.
along one day that's more efficient, that's faster, that's cheaper, that's better, just with technology, we're going to take that. Not only that, but a lot of people hate airplanes. Like I don't know about you, Marcus, but I don't like if I have like I have a 7 a.m. flight. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. like, oh my God, I can't wait to go on this airplane. This is gonna be the best ride of my life. Like, oh my God, I don't want to get up that early to go on an airplane. You have to
Hmm.
take all these different connecting flights. People are shooting back shots of alcohol, taking pills just to get on the airplane to get to Hawaii, but they do it because they're getting to Hawaii. And so
Hmm.
that's how important it is to not focus on the actual vehicle that you're doing and only focus on what the market wants. And so for you guys watching this, if you take away one thing from this, okay, it is you only want to sell what the market already desires. That is absolutely it. There's real quick, there's a story that I tell all my clients called the story of the perfect salesman. And the perfect salesman was absolutely perfect. The perfect salesman had a 100% closing ratio. He could sell water to the ocean. He could sell ice to an Eskimo. He could sell heaven to Jesus. Like he could sell anything.
That last part is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and he could. And every day, the perfect salesman, real guy, he would walk into a diner and he would get breakfast there. And so few weeks go by this, and finally the waitress who kept serving him came up to him and was like, "Hey, like I see you here every day, but I've never asked you like what is it that you do for work?" And he said, "Oh, well, I work in sales." And she said, "Oh, that's cool. Like, what is it that you sell?" And this is the part that makes him the perfect salesman. He looked around and goes, "Well, that depends. What is it that you want to buy?"
Oh, wow.
So you guys can be the perfect salesman yourself as long as you only sell what the market already desires, which is why we go over this and all of these things first. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Absolutely. I think it's pretty clear, man. It's clear to me, it's clear to everyone. So keep it going. I'm gonna let you cook.
So, all right, sounds good. So, when it comes to LinkedIn profile, it's very, very simple. And so we're going to call out our target audience, and then we're going to let them know what we help them do. And so, for example, you could go back to the examples that we just wrote about, but helping coaches, agency owners, SaaS owners, whatever they want to do, get more booked appointments, get more clients, more revenue, scale to 7 figures, whatever it is that we help them do. You want that to be in your cover photo, and you want that to be in your headline. So don't just have, business owner, like actually write out like what do you help people do, that we call that your value statement. And you're going to use that for your LinkedIn profile. You're going to use that for your messaging. You're going to use everything that we just went over for all of this. And so just a simple headline of whatever it is you're helping them do. Again, going back to financial advisors, I help financial advisors acquire more high net worth clients and more AUM every single week using my XYZ system. So that brings me to the next point is I highly recommend you guys to come up with what I call a proprietary method.
Mm,
And so a proprietary method is something unique that they can only get through you. And so you can see here, my proprietary method is my timer scaling system. Okay. Uh, an example down here for financial advisors that I use that made me lots and lots of money was my AUM acquisition formula, acquisition system, acquisition method. And the power of a proprietary method is that one, they can only get it through you.
hmm
And so I don't know if you remember, but just as an example, now if everybody or a lot of people watching this might be Gen Z. Maybe you guys are a little bit too young to remember this, but about 10 years ago, and I'm only 28, but still, about 10 years ago, there was that weight loss program called P90X. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, my parents used it. I would chime in, and
Yeah.
dance in my living room, man, or like these crazy things.
I bought that in high school. And so we had P90X. And the amazing thing about P90X was they were, at the time, they ran, it was one of the most, if not the highest producing revenue marketing campaign ever run at the time. And everywhere, if you remember their infomercials that they're posting everything, all that in their commercials was, hey, we'll help you shred body fat, whatever, and insert desired result using, and then they had something called muscle confusion. And
Um,
this everything, it was muscle confusion. The only reason that you were not getting the dream body of your life, the reason why your workouts aren't working and you're not gaining all this muscle is because you're not using muscle confusion. And nobody had ever heard of this before. So you go to Google, you type in muscle confusion, you're like, what the hell is muscle confusion? And all that would pop up is P90X. It would just keep looping back to them because
Brilliant.
they need to, they were the only people. So now if you Google it, other people have kind of copied them, but they have to get it through you. And so, like, I have again, what I teach are principles. And so I have a friend of mine who's a personal trainer, and she was having trouble getting clients. And so, I mentioned the principles thing because my principles also work for other industries. And so
Right.
she's a personal trainer. And so I taught her something, which is a strategy of mine called using a trust offer. It doesn't really matter what it is. Point is, I taught her the lesson. And I just taught her for free to help her out. And I was like, no, go try it. A month goes by, she reaches back out to me and she's like, Scott, I'm still not getting any clients. And I said, oh, like, did you try using a trust offer yet? And she said, well, I Googled it and nothing popped up. So I forgot like exactly how to do it. And I said, yes, you can't find it on Google because it's my proprietary method. So she literally tried to Google it and could not find it. And so that's the power of having your own proprietary method. They have to go through you. Not to mention, it separates you from all the countless, literal hundreds and thousands of competitors that you guys have out there. If I have the timer scaling system and my competitor just doesn't have any type of proprietary method, it's people are saying, "Ooh, I wonder what the timer scaling system is. What happens there?"
Hmm.
So that's
Brilliant. Yeah, it's not the timer system, it's our timer system. It's not a timer system, it's your timers, like
exactly. And
proprietary,
yeah,
like you said.
and you can Google this all you want, nothing's going to pop up.
I mean, you see it, yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. I'm gonna let you keep going. I'm gonna let you keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when it comes to your LinkedIn profile, again, most of this is just focusing on their desired results. And so I use this free bolding tool, which you guys can just Google. It's called,
Oh,
actually think it's for Instagram. It's called free IG bolding tool, or it's right here, IG line break caption generator. It's called.
apps for life host. I remember those days when I was making my own posts back in the day as a fitness guru, whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know how I found this years ago, but it's cool. You type in text and you can bold it or italicize it. I recommend it because it just makes things easier to read. Um, and so basically, uh, you're going to have a what we do section, right? And again, we're only focusing on their desired results, how we do it, and then how to get started. And so how to get started is just some type of call to action, right? DM me a word, book a call at a certain calendar link, funnel them to your Facebook group, like whatever your sales funnel is, that's where you are going to funnel them with this.
Got it.
Now, the last part is actually the first part of the LinkedIn profile that we haven't gone over yet, um, is you want to call out to your ideal target market here. So you want to start with that. And so we use something called symptomatic selling. And so symptomatic selling is very important. And so your ideal target audience, they have problems that they encounter on a daily basis, but they might not know what that problem is. And so what they do have, however, are symptoms. And a symptom is what people actually take action to help solve. And so like if my back is hurting, Like the problem could be a million different things.
Hmm.
But the symptom of the back pain is what makes me go to the doctor to seek a solution. And so you guys are the doctor in this situation. Like if I sat on a thumbtack, I wouldn't sit on the thumbtack and go, it appears I sat on a thumbtack. That really hurt. That was the issue. I would sit on the thumbtack and I would go, like damn, like that hurt.
Yeah.
And then I would pull it out and be like, like it was a thumbtack. That was the problem. But I don't know the problem until I know the symptom. And
Hmm.
so for us, we want to focus on that, and you can attract different people based on the symptoms. And so here I call out, are you an agency coach or SaaS owner? Again, in their own words, what do they call themselves? Who wakes up and asks themselves, man, what do I have to do today? Or what do I have to do, say, or post today to get a new client? And this is the actual symptom. Like the problem could be a million different things. The problem could be you guys aren't using LinkedIn, right? Like,
Hmm.
let's say. But the symptom is you guys are actually waking up and going, what do I have to do, say, or post to get a new client? Or the symptom is if you're checking your paid ads account, you're checking your Facebook ad account every day, you're going like, oh my God, the cost per lead just keeps increasing. And when
Hmm.
you're able to call out to these symptoms, different people are going to raise their hand based on the symptom, right? Or I put get suckered into some guru's Facebook post promising the next magic bullet, right? Which happens all the time because they're teaching tactics. And so you first call out with symptoms, and then you go into what we do, how we do it, and how to get started.
Nice.
And here is just think of it as a basic place for more ad copy. And you guys can feel free if you're watching this to model my profile. You'll see how what we went over at the beginning with the principles of market research and how to write copy stems and flows into all of this. So that's the LinkedIn profile. And once you have that set up, that's really necessary before getting going with any lead gen, because it'll just help skyrocket your results.
Exactly. Perfect. That later, yeah, that everything is laid out as a foundation. Now the tactics like this comes into play.
Exactly. So once you have the principles down, now we can get into the actual messaging, um, and the fun automated lead generation tactics and whatnot. So basically what the software we're going to do now, we use an invite only software. If you guys want access to the software, you can reach out to Marques or to me, and I can get you set up with an account. But we use an invite only software because LinkedIn doesn't love automation tools. But the software that we use protects your account from ever getting temporarily restricted. And I haven't seen an account be permanently restricted in a couple of years now. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to hook up your profile to the software, and then we're going to load in messaging into the software that'll then reach out to a target audience that we tell it to reach out to. And so here's inside the software. And you're going to be able to connect your LinkedIn profile. I should show you here. You'll be able to connect, and you can scale by, you can see me and my partner have 10 to 15 LinkedIn profiles all connected here. That's what all these are. So we're going to go into it, go into your account, and you're going to be able to set up a campaign, and I'll just take you into one. Or actually I'll show you how to make one from scratch. You'll just do new connector campaign. And so this is an automated software that's going to be able to reach out to your ideal target audience, again, while you sleep, so that you don't have to do anything. And so then we're going to go to steps. And the first message that we can put here is a connection request message. Your connection request message is the message that's going to go out to your ideal prospect with a connection request. And so it's going to be a little message connected to it. And it's usually very basic. You're just going to say some form of a little blurb. It's really not that important. So for example, hey, John, and it'll all auto load the name for you. Hey, John, I noticed you work in the financial services industry. I work in this space every day and I love it. So I thought it made sense to connect. Just something pretty basic, right? It's not that important. You're going to put that in there. And then you can actually select the setting and have it send an automated message, what we call a welcome message, right after. And this is the more important message. So your welcome message is your type of pitch message. Now, I know a lot of people watching this, and this is what you guys are interested in with kind kind of the scripts and the template, but a lot of you watching this are going to wonder, do I go more indirect messaging? Do I go more direct messaging? Either can work. However, for me, in my experience, I pretty much only use direct messaging. A couple of reasons. One, because on LinkedIn, if you go to indirect and you start asking them, about their day and about their business and all this stuff, people don't have time to sit on LinkedIn all day. And so you're going to get ghosted by a lot of people. The other thing is that you only feel like you need to go indirect when you don't already know what it is that they want, which is why we start with the market research. But people will never get mad at you for selling them what they already desire, just like I talked about with the perfect salesman. And so I think about it like this. Let's say that you were selling water, like bottles of water, and you did your market research and you position yourself well in the market, and you decided that people who might need water are hikers, right? A lot of people go on hikes and they come back and they're thirsty and need water. So you take your water bottle stand, you pitch it right up outside of a big hiking trail. And Marcus, let's say you were walking down that hiking trail and you're like, oh my God, that was like way longer of a hike than I thought it was going to be. And I'm just so thirsty. And I went to him, I was like, hey, like, um, I see you coming down the hiking trail. Were you just on a hike? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, how long you been hiking for? And you're like out of breath and you're like, I don't know, man, like a few years. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, do you come to this hiking trail often or other hiking trails? And you just be like, dude, like, I see you have the water. Just give me the damn water. But instead, I know that you're already thirsty. So you come down and I say, hey, I noticed you were just on that hiking trail. Like, would you like some water? If you want water in that moment, and that is what you desire, your answer is going to be yes. If you have water, there's no amount of rapport building that I could possibly do with you to get you to buy water from me because you do not need water. And so the same thing is true here. If there's no amount of rapport building you're going to be doing with people in their LinkedIn inbox to all of a sudden have them go, oh, you know what? Actually, I do need more clients. It doesn't happen. If they need more clients and you have their desired results down in their own words, they're going to respond back to you and say, yes, I do need help with that. There's no point going indirect about it. Just like if you're more direct selling the water, you're going to make more sales than indirect.
Perfect. Well said.
Yeah. And so welcome message is simply put, you want to keep it short and simple. Hey, John, great to connect. I was checking out your profile and I noticed you are insert your target audience, target industry, target niche, whatever. This is why we went over before that exercise of financial advisors, wealth managers. What are they calling themselves? I noticed you're in that space. And so I thought I'd reach out just to quickly introduce myself. Quick background on me, whatever you want to call it. I'm Scott, and I help insert target audience, what they call themselves in their own words, to solve problem and get their desired result in their own words using my proprietary process. Just curious, do you need any help with this? And that's the whole message. And so you're going to craft that and you're going to paste it in here. And then I'll show you what a finished campaign looks like after this. And then that'll be the next message that goes out. Then you can either add as many other steps as you want. I usually just do 1 to 2 and send other follow-up messages.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So if it sends them the welcome message and they reply, the automation stops. They're either going to reply, no thanks, or they're going to reply, yeah, I'd like to hear more, or sounds good. From there, you just respond and you get them onto a booked call directly from there. You say, sounds good, John. Would love to explain more. How does Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time or Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time work for a quick call to go over the details? They'll respond back. You say, great, what's the best email and number to reach you at? I'll book you in and send you a calendar invite. If they don't respond back, then it'll send this automated follow-up message. And so you'll just hit them again with another marketing type message.
Perfect.
And it's very simple. And so I'll give you an example here. I just have these examples. Hey, John, it's great to connect. So I noticed you're a financial advisor, so I wanted to reach out. Quick background on me. I'm Scott, founder of Set and Close, and we guarantee financial advisors $100 million in new AUM over the next 12 months using my AUM acquisition formula. One client even added $222 million in AUM within his first 3 months working with us. Just curious, John, would you be opposed to a quick call to see what's been working so well for partners over here? And so I use a little bit different wording in the example to show you like it's like the
Mm.
exact wording isn't the important thing. The important thing is all the desired result and lingo that we talked about
The
before.
research done to make it happen. Yep.
Exactly. And so I did another one here. I noticed you're a realtor. The important parts are I noticed you're a realtor. I specialize in generating realtors 300K in GCI, which stands for gross commission income, which is how they're paid, which I only
Hmm.
knew from market
What they
research.
care about. Yeah.
Mhm. Using my GCI acquisition formula, right? And so I just use that as another example. Then your 3-day follow-up message. I do 3 days. You can do whatever you want. Again, it's really just a ping to the top of their inbox, their messaging, the message that you sent before. Now, the one other cool campaign that we can run is actually an open in-mail campaign. So with this campaign, we send out our connection request message, they accept our connection request, and then it sends out the welcome message. With an open in-mail campaign, there's no connection request message they have to accept. It's like a cold email on LinkedIn. If you guys check your
Oh,
LinkedIn, you
okay.
probably get these from time to time.
Yeah.
It comes with a subject um, that you put in, and then you just put in your equivalent of the welcome message here. And people will respond right back, again, either interested or not interested. And so here you'll see, I'll go into a campaign I recently launched. Um, This is what a final campaign will look like. All your messaging will be loaded in, and this is an
Okay.
email campaign. And so,
Solid.
yeah, the last thing you have to do is add in a search. There are a couple ways to do this. I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is something you purchase from LinkedIn to give you better targeting. And you can target whatever people call themselves on LinkedIn. And so, for example, right, and I'm not going to go through everything in this here because you'll have
Mhm.
to play around on your own on LinkedIn Sales Navigator to figure it out. And
Right.
if you don't want to pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, the software we use here has its own search feature as well. But
Mhm.
Sales Nav just allows you to get more specific. You put in the keywords of whatever people call themselves, um, and you'll be able to create a search based on these various filters like company headcount, years in current job title, um, current job like seniority level, like so that you can get past any gatekeeper and actually only contact owners, founders, CEOs, all that amazing stuff. Um, and geography are big ones that I use.
Got
And
it.
so you can target wherever you want with that. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Yeah. I was anticipating a lot of people wanting to talk about Sales Navigator when they watch this, so I'm glad that we got a section on this and how beneficial it is to get it. I mean, it's been around for a while and people might not know what that is when they think, but they heard it before. Like when you think of LinkedIn for outreach, you think of Sales Navigator.
Yeah. And so it's a targeting tool. And so it gives you all these filters that otherwise you wouldn't need. And so
Hmm.
it costs, you can start with the whole month free trial. I think it's like $100 a month, which I know if you guys are just starting out can seem like daunting to spend anything on software, but this system will give you a huge ROI. The best person I ever taught the strategy to does over $4 million per year from a single LinkedIn profile. Like the ROI that you'll get from LinkedIn compared to paid ads is just unbelievably more so. And with paid ads, there's so many kind of daunting like tech to figure out all these funnels and so many variables. With LinkedIn, you have who you're targeting with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you have your messaging, and that's pretty much it. There's like a couple variables to figure out, and that is it.
Hmm.
And then Marcus, if you don't mind, I wanted to go over one more kind of like ninja tactic on LinkedIn
Good.
that
Please.
that I've been pushing people more and more to over the past year. And so, all right, so this is this actually utilizes another principle where I always say, if I got amnesia today or tomorrow, and I just woke up and bah, was a brand new Scott on Earth, if I could only remember one thing, it would be this thing. Like if all I remembered was this one principle I'm going to teach you guys, in 6 months from now, I could have a multi six-figure business in any industry in the entire world. Because remember, principles work for everything,
Hmm.
no matter like any industry, literally in the world. And so if all I remembered was this, I would be able to have incredible success. So the principle is that other people's assets are my assets too. And so this is, yeah, I'll move it to the bottom. This is everything. And so other people's assets are my assets too. So what does this mean? This can mean a lot of different things, but in this, for LinkedIn, it is what I call finding heavy lifters who can refer people directly to you, or oftentimes even do the sales for you. And so I'll give you some examples. And so um, I use a bunch of examples for me, but let me use some for some other people. So I have a colleague, his name is Eddie. Eddie, to show you that this can work for anything, Eddie runs a coaching program for personal trainers. And so he lives in Ohio. And so, right, coaching program for personal trainers. And this will be huge for you guys who are saying, well, like, is my industry on LinkedIn? Like, and that's another good question. Is your target audience on LinkedIn? One, for the strategy I'm about to show you, it is for everybody. And two, even if you're going just direct leads, if you can search them on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you can find them by searching whatever keywords they have in their title, then you can target them on LinkedIn. Pretty much every single industry is
Yep.
on LinkedIn in some way, shape, or form. And so Eddie owned or had a coaching program for personal trainers, and he was just starting it up. And he said, okay, uh, let me think, where do my people hang out? Like, what are other people who already have my audience? And these are what we call heavy lifters, people who already have my audience and who have spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars building up your ideal audience, okay, who already has my audience. Okay, we call them heavy lifters. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, countless hours building up your customer list that you can take advantage of. You can use their assets to shortcut your success. And
Mhm.
so Eddie thought to himself, well, there is this one personal training certification company in his area, which I believe he lives in Ohio, where people who want to get certified in personal training, they have to go to a certification company. And Eddie went to them. He just called them up and he said, hey, do you guys work with personal trainers? And they're like, yep. And he goes, okay, that's cool. Like, do you guys ever get questions about how they can like start growing their business? And they were like, yeah, all the time. And he's like, well, do you guys help them with that? And they're like, no, we don't help them with that. That's not what we do. And so Eddie was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, I actually specialize in helping personal trainers grow their business XYZ. Do you think your people would enjoy me like or enjoy like getting help with that at all? And long story short, they were like, yeah, that sounds interesting. And so they said, maybe we can like set something up. And so Eddie was like, okay, awesome. And so about a week or two goes by, Eddie doesn't hear from him. He calls him back and he's like, hey, like, do you guys think anymore what we could do with each other with this? And they were like, yes, actually. And they literally said to him, what if you wrote our our people a weekly newsletter, just giving them tips and tricks on growing their personal training business? And Eddie, he's not a content guy. He wasn't a marketer starting out with this. He said, I don't have enough content to write it weekly. And so he said, what if I just do a monthly newsletter for you? And they said, okay, that works great. So every single month, Eddie writes a single email for their audience for a newsletter. And I believe he started this partnership 3 years ago. And so it's still ongoing. And his high ticket coaching program uh, is 15K on average. And this is info from over a year ago now, so it could be even more now.
Mhm.
But on average, he would get 2 closes every month. So without doing any lead generation, without doing any sales himself, just from this one email that it probably takes him 20 minutes to write every month, he now has a multi six-figure business from one partnership. And I call this using other people's assets to shortcut your success.
Mhm.
So why do I tell you this? Because you can also run campaigns on your software to reach out to potential heavy lifters that have your audience. And you can form partnerships with them. And so The biggest question to ask yourself, and again, this is a principle that works for anything, is very simply, where does my audience hang out? Who are competitors? Who are people who work with my ideal audience but don't directly compete with me? What software or tools does my audience use? And you make a list of this and you write it down and you start reaching out to these people and you come from a place of value. You come to a place of how can I help out your audience? Because you come from a place of just free value, wanting to help out, you can partner up with them and they'll be more likely to do it. And you can literally, like, I have myself a six-figure income from just various partnerships like this,
Mm,
where over the past month, I think I've gotten between 10 and 15 new clients of people just literally being sent to me by other heavy lifters that I've built up. And this is very, very important strategy because obviously direct lead generation is awesome for you guys, and you should still be doing that. But you'll get to the point where like it's just so much easier to be able to just have a lifestyle that you want. I'm not having to work all the time, not having to constantly test out new messaging and constantly test all these different things. When you have heavy lifters just sending you people every single week, week after week. And so if you're having either in addition to your direct lead gen, or if you're having trouble with your direct lead gen, you can start launching campaigns to find your heavy lifters. And I put it like this. Like, you know, when you're like throwing a rock in the water and you throw a rock in the water and it goes like bloop, and it's like a tiny pebble and it creates like one
yeah.
ripple, right? Like different ripples. That's like going one-to-one lead gen. Like every single call you get, every single sales call, it's like you're getting one ripple, one ripple, one ripple. But other people's assets, finding a heavy lifter that refers you people is like you taking a giant boulder and chucking it into the water and just hundreds and thousands of ripples come out. Because
Yep.
instead of getting one book sales call where you try and get one client, you can get one relationship with one heavy lifter that leads to hundreds of clients, and you can structure it properly so that it lasts you for years to come.
Boom.
That's the
Huge.
other strategy that I use, that you can use LinkedIn for as well.
Wonderful. Man, that's huge, man. And you over delivered as always, Scott. Always appreciate it, man. Yeah, this is a huge takeaway for everyone. Um, if I was sitting at home and I was scaling and I was like at 5K, this is literally a type of video I hope people watch and binge the whole hour, right? Scott, is there anything else? I think you covered more than what I can imagine right now. But is there anything else you want to leave people with? I mean, you gave them more than enough. You're not only what have done, but like literally you downloaded your brain onto this video. um,
Did
which
my
is
best.
you did your best. Is there anything you want to leave them with?
Just leaving you guys, I guess, with the motivation that no matter what position you're in right now out there, you absolutely can do this. Like if you, a lot of you guys are younger guys. Again, I said I'm 28 years old, financially free, which I never thought was possible. Living at home 5 years ago, I bought this program that taught me this LinkedIn lead generation 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago. And I went from in debt to my brother living at home to now financially free, owning almost $2 million in real estate. And so if I can do it, there's nothing special about me whatsoever. I learned principles from mentors who taught principles. I stopped chasing tactics and I took action on everything. Um, and that's the only thing that made me to where I am today. There's nothing special about me all. And so if I can do it, you guys can do it too. And with that,
Amazing. Much appreciated, Scott. This is gonna be one for the books. I definitely can see this one getting a lot of hits, hopefully. And if you did find this invaluable, subscribe. I'm gonna bring the sauce. I'm gonna bring on some great people like Scott on. So appreciate it. And drop if you do anything, drop your biggest takeaway. And one more thing, Scott, are we able to drop like the scripts? I swear to God, it's either gonna be yes or a yes. Okay, because
yeah,
then I
yeah,
swear to God, man, everyone comments and I'll be like, just look at the video or.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you the Google Doc where you can where people can click it and make their own copy of it.
There you go. That's what I do, a viewable one, and they can make a copy.
Perfect.
I once did that first time and I did not make it viewable. It was like
Oh God.
edit. Bro,
Yeah.
everyone was fucking it was so funny what people were writing on there. I won't even mention it. But dope. All right, guys. Peace.
All right. See you guys.